Experiment number 2 aims to determine the specific heat of a solid. Specific heat is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of a unit mass of a body by 1 degree. The basic principle that will be applied is the law of conservation energy. To determine the heat lost or gained, a calorimeter was used. It is an apparatus insulated so that there is no heat exchange between the system and its surroundings. All that will be applied is the law of conservation energy. To determine the heat lost or gained, a calorimeter was used. It is an apparatus insulated so that there is no heat exchange between the system and its surroundings. Heat is a shortened way of saying heat energy. When something is hot, it has a lot of heat energy. When it's cold, it has less. But even things that seem cold, such as iceberg and polar bears, have rather more heat energy than you might suppose. Objects can store heat energy because the atoms and molecules inside them are jostling around and bumping into one another like people in a crowd. This idea is called the kinetic theory of matter because it describes heat as kind of kinetic energy stored by the atoms and molecules from which materials are made. It was developed in the 19th century by various scientists, including Austrian physicist Ludwig Boltzmann and British physicist James Clerk Maxwell. One thing you've probably noticed about heat is that it doesn't generally stay where you put it. Hot things get colder, and cold things get hot. And if given enough time, most things eventually end up the same temperature. There's a basic law of physics called the second law of thermodynamics, and it says essentially that cups of coffee always go cold, and ice creams always melt. Heat flows from hot things toward cold ones and never the other way around. You never see boiling coffee all by itself or ice creams getting colder on sunny days. The second law of thermodynamics is also responsible for the painful fuel bills that drop through your letterbox several times a year. In short, the hotter you make your home and the colder it is outside, the more heat you're going to lose. To reduce that problem, you need to understand the three different ways in which heat can travel. It is called conduction, convection, and radiation. Sometimes, you'll see this referred to as three forms or heat transfer.
Hi, my name is JERICO and SANCHEZ, and I will be discussing about the specific heat. The specific heat is the amount of heat per unit mass required to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. The relationship between heat and temperature change usually, so later I'll be showing you the things that conducted in our experiment.
The basic principle that we've applied is the law of conservation of energy, which is the amount of heat lost at the higher temperature and heat gained from a lower temperature. We use the calorimeter to measure the specific heat of a solid because the calorimeter is an insulated apparatus that can help to protect from heat exchange and also its surroundings.
So for the experiment number 2, specific heat of the solid, we managed to gather this result. The mass of the solid or the lead pellets is 70.05 grams. The mass of calorimeter is 25.4 grams. The mass of calorimeter and water is 84.14 grams. The mass of water is 59.1 grams. The specific heat of calorimeter is 0.22 calorie per gram degree Celsius. The temperature of solids initial is 75.45 Celsius. The temperature of water and calorimeter initial is 20.57 Celsius. Upon placing solids, water, and calorimeter all together, the temperature raised for the water and calorimeter while the temperature for the solids decreased to 22.69. Applying the law of conservation, the solids, water, and calorimeter will be thermal equilibrium, meaning they will all have the same temperature. The temperature of solids, water, and calorimeter final is 22.69 Celsius. The temperature of water is 2.12 Celsius. The heat gained by calorimeter is 11.68 calorie. The heat gained by water is 125.29 calorie. The total heat gained is 136.97 calorie. The heat lost by solids is also 136.97 calorie. The temperature change of solids is 156.76 Celsius. By following the given formula of the specific heat of the solid, specific heat of the solids equals the heat gained of the solids over the mass of the solids multiplied by the change in temperature of the solid. We came up with the answer. The computed value of the specific heat of solids is 0.5570 calorie per gram degree Celsius. The accepted value for the specific heat of solids is 0.03 calorie per gram degree Celsius. And lastly, the percentage error is 23.33%.